If you're new to crypto, you most likely have heard of the scalability problem, but you might not fully understand that. So in this video, I'll explain to you the scalability dilemma in cryptocurrency projects and also TPS, transactions per second, and what all the hoopla is. To give you a little bit of context, let's take a look at what Visa and the technology behind Visa, which is VisaNet, what they're able to process. Visa can actually handle upwards of 65,000 transactions per second. And by the way, if you're reading about crypto, you will see the acronym TPS. That just stands for transactions per second. Now, the reality is Visa does not handle anywhere close to 65,000 transactions per second. They only handle around 1,700 to maybe 2,000 transactions per second. Now, how does Visa attain this really impressive TPS? Well, it's because all of the transactions are actually processed on their own servers. This allows for optimized, high-speed transaction processing. Now in crypto, we refer to a company like Visa and the way they handle transactions as extremely centralized because they control the situation. The centralized nature, however, makes it a lot easier for Visa to scale as they can control and expand their infrastructure to meet demand. So cryptocurrency projects like Bitcoin and altcoins, they are trying to compete with Visa in this sense. However, they're trying to do it in a very decentralized way. Now, in crypto, the whole objective is not to have this central authority, central government, or a company or a corporation, or even just a small group of individuals controlling everything. They don't want this type of central authority or just a few servers running everything and housing all the data. In crypto, they want it to be extremely distributed and decentralized. So all of the transactions have to actually be validated by a distributed network of nodes. And think of nodes as just computers scattered throughout the world that are controlling the actual network. The whole point of these nodes is for them to agree and to make the transactions valid. Now, how do they agree and bring validity to the transactions? Well, that's done through something called a consensus mechanism. And this is something like proof of stake, which Ethereum, Solana, Cardano uses, or maybe you've heard of proof of work. This is what Bitcoin uses. Now, Visa can handle thousands of transactions because they require just a few data centers to process these transactions. They do not need to share and validate every single transaction with a global network of peers like these crypto projects do. Now, you have to understand that Bitcoin has over 18,000 reachable nodes that are helping to run the network. This is what makes it very secure and very distributed and very decentralized. However, if there was just a dozen nodes running a crypto project, it would be able to handle so many more transactions than something like Bitcoin, which can only handle about 7 transactions per second. According to ChainSpect, Ethereum handles around 12 to 15 transactions per second, and the maximum recorded ever was around 62 transactions per second. Again, the Bitcoin network is comprised of over 20,000 reachable nodes. If there was only around 12 nodes or 20 nodes, this would definitely make it crazy fast. However, security would take a hit because you only have a couple or a dozen nodes running the entire network. And what's to stop some node operators from actually colluding and destroying the whole network or the trust of the network? There's something referred to as a 51% attack. I'll cover that in a separate video, but another thing that takes a hit is decentralization. If there's just a dozen nodes or 20 nodes, that is not decentralized at all. Remember, Bitcoin has upwards of probably 20,000 nodes that run the system. But at the same time, that's what makes it so slow. That is why Bitcoin handles between 3 to 7 transactions per second, extremely slow. Remember, Visa can handle up to 65,000 transactions per second. So how exactly are developers behind these cryptocurrency projects trying to solve this problem? Well, there are efforts put forth to solve the scalability issue. For instance, layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network for Bitcoin or rollups for Ethereum. Definitely topics for another video. There's also sharding. There can also be alternative consensus mechanisms. So maybe proof of work or proof of stake is not the fastest. There are a lot of other ways to do it. There's also hybrid models, but these hybrid models, they definitely sacrifice on the decentralization front. And so you could see there's an issue, and this issue is called the blockchain trilemma, and it refers to the challenge of achieving these three key goals. Basically, cryptocurrencies are trying to achieve decentralization, security, and scalability, which is what this video is about. However, when you try to really excel in one, like be super duper decentralized, then you typically have a trade-off with one of the other two. You are not as scalable and you're not as secure. If you're super duper secure, you might not be as decentralized and you might not be as scalable. And same thing goes for decentralization. If you're extremely decentralized, you might not be very scalable. So hopefully this helps you understand what the scalability problem in crypto is all about. Again, if you're new to crypto, some of the topics are definitely intimidating, but if you just start reading the easy to understand tutorials and just start covering some of the basic topics, and you can think of crypto as this giant cryptographic puzzle, right? And you're missing a lot of pieces. But as you start filling in these pieces, you will eventually start to see the big picture and the small picture, and it's going to help you so much to assess these new projects to come out, to understand if something is a shitcoin or has actual utility, is something truly decentralized, or if you're investing in a certain crypto, are you just hoping, praying, and crossing your fingers that the centralized authority or the company behind it is going to stick to the ethos of crypto and not screw you over? To give you an example, since we're talking about scalability, projects like Solana, even Ripple Solutions, they're incredibly fast, but the trade-off is they are not truly decentralized. And so a lot of the control is centralized, the decision making, the governance even, that makes things very, very tricky. Something like Bitcoin has been battle tested over time, and you realize that even though it's slow, it is classically and fully decentralized. I would argue that Bitcoin, out of all the cryptocurrency projects out there, is the most decentralized. Take a look at Solana. When there were issues with it, they basically restarted the platform. There's been many times that the actual network went down a couple of times, sometimes for a total of like a day. That's never happened with a project like Bitcoin. And so that is something, and that's the reason why a lot of Bitcoin maxis or Bitcoin maximalists, they champion Bitcoin, because they say this is the only true project and every other type of crypto is just taking attention away from it. I'm not in that camp. I think that a lot of these projects are very interesting software cryptographic style projects, and I think that a lot of these projects can coexist. I'm invested in a lot of projects, not just Bitcoin, but I love researching this stuff, and hopefully you've learned something in this video. If you have, the only thing I want you to do, no affiliate links, no sponsorships, no courses, no Discord, none of that nonsense. I'm just here to learn with the rest of you, but tell your friends about me, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see some of you in the next video.